Fourth and goal to go to the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time any day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe leave a comment below or possibly even share this video, it would mean so much to me. Because at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I saw an article, and I'll leave a link in the description box. You can check it out if you want. It says 7 New York Giants who will be playing elsewhere in 2022. And pretty much, yeah, I'm in agreement with all of it. There's one or two of them, it's kind of like, wait and see. But some of these, I really ain't going to argue with them. And the first one we go with, the first one I have is Jabril Peppers. Now, obviously, he's hurt. But it's got nothing to do with that. It's just the Giants are just next year strapped for cash. Now, I saw it was on over the cap, okay? The Giants next year have 42 guys signed. They have, according to over the cap, and I don't know how old their stats are, whatever, but they have the Giants having $4.27 million worth of salary cap space. However, it doesn't take into account the fact that they got to sign their rookie draft class. They got probably two high first-round picks they're going to have to sign and all of that. But what they did was they did, you have to have 53 guys signed. So they have 42. So I guess basically they're taking the other 11 guys that need to be signed and they kind of sign them like a bare minimum contract. So with that, taking that into effect, I guess they have the Giants at like $9 million over the cap. Now I don't know if that's with the rookie contracts in there, exactly how they figure that out. But I mean, the Giants are $9 million to the bad. So I mean, there's no way we can sign Jabril Peppers whatsoever, even if we wanted to. I mean, unfortunately, you just got to let him go. I mean, the guy's going to be making, I'm sure, double digits as far as $1 million, and you can't afford him. You got, you got hopefully, J.R. Reed, right? Julian Love, Mr. Duct Tape can play back there. You got Xavier McKinney. You still got Logan Ryan. We've done well drafting safeties in the second round. We've done well. I don't know if Kyle Hamilton would fall to the Giants. Say we were drafting like 5 or something like that, 6. I mean, I don't know if Kyle Hamilton would fall to us, but I mean, when you got a safety, and I keep seeing him being like, mocked in the top 5, you got, I mean, there's certain, like if you see a guard like Quentin Nelson, where you see a safety, or oddball, like Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa, the center, like going in the top 10. I mean, there's a reason why they're special. I mean, you got an offensive tackle in the top 10. I mean, I'm sure he should be good and this, that, and the other. But I mean, if you just got like a guard or a center or a safety in the top 5, I mean, it's like, there's something special about the person. I said, now, I mean, I wouldn't agree with taking him, Hamilton, in the first round, because you have other pressing needs. But I mean, if you were to get him, if you had Xavier McKinney, you got Kyle Hamilton, you'd be set at safety for a long time. The only problem you would have would be trying to afford to pay the guys as their rookie contracts came up. But I mean, Jabril Peppers, you just gotta let him go. I mean, it's a shame. I love his attitude, love his spirit, his fight, and all that stuff and everything. But unfortunately, you just gotta let him go. The second guy they got is Mr. Turnstile, Nate Solder. If they let him go, they would, for what I was reading in the article here, okay, they say there's a $4 million dead cap hit, but you would be saving $10 million, which would be huge because you got to sign, you got to somehow you got to come up with some cap room somewhere along the line, and to save $10 million would be absolutely huge. Yeah, you getting rid of him. I don't know if you know why Matt Parrott hasn't if Matt Parrott hasn't taken a spot. That's not saying huge volumes about Matt Parrott. Matt Parrott can be maybe a backup, maybe he's a project, maybe in another year or two, maybe he'll get a little bit better. Who knows? But I mean, also in the first round, you might want to wind up drafting a tackle. You got Andrew Thomas and you got another tackle. Now you got your bookends. Right? So that would be huge. I mean, Nate Solder, you gotta let him go. I mean, Gettleman tried, overpaid for him, and it's just not working out. And it was very, very costly. And one of the many reasons why it's going to cost Dave Gettleman his job. The next one they have there is Lorenzo Carter. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. His rookie season was good. It doesn't have any sacks this year. He's hurt once again. It looked good in the first year. It was a nice third-round pick, but since then, nope, not much of anything except for injuries and no sacks. I mean, somebody's going to probably pick him up. But I mean, I don't know what he's going to want. I'm just throwing out there $5 million, maybe $6 million, who knows? But there's no way in heck that the Giants. I mean, you can't have an edge rusher and the guy gets you no sacks. He either gets hurt or he gets you no sacks. I mean, draft somebody maybe in the third round. Then that brings us to the next guy, the X-Man, Oshane Ximines. Now he still would have another, year on his rookie contract. The thing is, it's kind of like who the GM is. Are they keeping Judge? These are the things you just don't know. But according to this article here, with just letting the X-Man go, they would have a $200,000 cap hit. Okay, but apparently they would be saving about $1 million. So I mean, if you could let him go, let Nate Solder go, there would be maybe about $11 million you would wind up saving. So that would be huge. As I said, every $1 million for next year, every $1 million they can save is huge. So, I mean, it depends. I mean, he's still on his rookie contract. I don't see why on earth you'd want to, even after his rookie contract, re-sign him. But I mean, he's been kind of like a healthy scratch. I mean, there's a reason why you're an edge rusher. We get no pressure, all right, and you're an edge rusher and you're a healthy scratch. So that means you're not producing at all. You're very disappointing. Once again, another disappointing third-round draft choice. Then the next one you got would be would be Billy Price. Now I got a little question mark there. It depends upon I mean, he would be good. He's filled in. He's done an adequate job. Nothing super spectacular. It's not something you want to put him in there and ride off into the sunset with him and hope he's going to take us to a Super Bowl. It's just if you let him go, because you don't know what's going on with Nick Gates. If you draft Tyler Linderbaum, which I would love to see. I said once again, there's a reason why a center is mocked to go in the top 10. There's a reason why. The dude is good. Okay, so I mean, if you could draft a tackle and draft him, maybe if you get Shane Lemieux there, maybe you get Isaiah Wilson at the other guard, and you draft Tyler Linderbaum. I mean, I don't know if Nick Gates is going to be back. You just don't know. But maybe try to offer Billy Price something that would give you a backup. Maybe Billy Gates can maybe be a backup at the guards too. Maybe learn another position, but also he'll be depth at center if you can get him on the cheap. So I mean, that one I kind of a little, because the Giants need all the help they can get on the offensive line. And just to let him go, I know he's not a Hall of Famer, he's not an All-Pro, he's not this, I get it, but he's depth. So I mean, if you can get him, on the cheap, I wouldn't necessarily be, all gung-ho about just letting the guy go. The next one, of course, is Evan Ingram. Yeah, that's kind of like a no-brainer there. He's just not going to be able to afford him. Period. I'm sure he's going to wind up trying to make, 7 to 10 million. I mean, you got to see you later. The Evan Ingram experiment is over with. You can certainly draft somebody. I mean, if you're going to the first bunch of picks that you have next year, if you're using that for the offensive line or maybe the defensive front or something, or an edge rush or whatever, maybe draft a tight end the following year, or pick somebody up in free agency when you're going to have some money, because they won't have any money next year. 2023 they'll have some money, so maybe pick somebody up then. I mean, if you got to ride out with Caden Smith, Levine Toiolu, Kyle Rudolph next year, I said, or maybe pick somebody up in the 3rd round as a tight end, maybe a 4th round. You ain't going to get probably nobody really super duper special, but I said maybe, if you want to really hit it hard, maybe 2023 as a free agent or draft somebody. Then you got Austin Johnson, the last one they got there on the list. Now the thing is, with him, I got a little question mark here. I wouldn't be so gung-ho as far as letting him go. The only thing, unless you're going to maybe plan on drafting somebody. I'll go over that in just a second. He's got 3 sacks. He's got 15 pressures. His PFF grade is 65.4. Now the Giants get no pressure, and you're going to be letting somebody who has basically 1/7 of your sacks. You're just going to let him go. Now, somebody will probably wind up signing him for more money than the Giants can maybe offer him. You can always try to get him on the cheap. See if he takes a hometown discount. Who knows? But if you can maybe sign him and have a good quality depth, I'm all for it. If you can afford it. I don't know if you can. But as I said, I mean, he's got 3 sacks. He's got more sacks than, almost all, not Azeez Ojulari, Leonard Williams, no, but, he's got more sacks than anybody else. So it'd be hard to let him go. And he's having a nice year. Maybe not somebody you want to start it, have as a starter, but he's good quality depth. Now, this takes you to our draft picks. Now, in the first round, you gotta, for me, you gotta get 2 offensive linemen. Period. I don't want, we're gonna be losing Will Hernandez. I'm sure he'll be gone. I don't know why. In his article, 7 Giants will be playing elsewhere in 2022. Why he doesn't have Will Hernandez in there, I don't know. But I don't know if you're going to be signing him, because you got to ante up to get him. So I don't know about that. So if you got, if you got Will Hernandez going, say you pick 1 offensive lineman, so you're taking 1 step forward, drafting an offensive lineman, and 1 step back, because now you just lost Will Hernandez. So it's basically almost kind of where you at. You let Nate Solder go. Who's your tackle? Who's your center going to be? I would love to see the Giants, if they got like 2 top 10 picks or whatever, draft 2 offensive linemen. Whether it's a guard, or the Linderbaum, the center, or a tackle. And I certainly don't mean stretch. I just or reach for somebody. Wow, we got pick number 10. We need a tackle. We got the best tackle available. We got graded as a late 1st, early 2nd round pick, and we're drafting 10s. But he's the best guy, so let's draft him. No, I don't mean stretching that, or reaching that far. But if you got the guy maybe 15 or 16 or something like that, you're drafting, get him. You have to fix the offensive line. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now in the 2nd round and then the 3rd round, what I would like to see is we have 3 picks, right? We got a 2nd and 2 thirds. Now, what I'd like to see there is that if you can maybe hit the defense really good, get a good defense. We've done well in the past with defensive linemen in the 2nd round. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. Maybe get an edge rusher in the 3rd round. We haven't done very well in the edge rusher department in the 3rd round, but maybe we have a new GM. Maybe you can actually pick a winner in the 3rd round. Maybe, maybe get a linebacker, middle linebacker, put next to Blake Martinez. I'm all for that. But I mean, I would take the second and third round and just try to beef up the front, the defensive front. Or if I said if you draft somebody in the first round on a defensive line, in that second round you got to get another offensive line. You got to fix the offensive line. I mean, you can't just grab one guy this year, man. Maybe next year we'll grab him, because you're not getting nowhere. You got to hit it hard. You got to fix the offensive line. No questions asked. So that's what I'd like to see to do. But I said there's 7 guys. I said there's Will Hernandez too. But I'll leave a link to this article here. You can check it out. Then I got Russell Wilson, question mark to the Giants in 2023. And I said once again, over the cap has the Giants next year. We only have $4.27 million. But according to them, once we sign all our guys, basically kind of like a bare minimum contract, right? So we're going to be like about $9 million over the cap. So we're in trouble for next year. So, I mean, Russell Wilson kind of wants to get out of Seattle, this, that, and the other thing. The Giants have draft picks and all and everything. But what are you going to pay him with? I mean, next year, you can't, I mean, I've seen the article. The Giants should do everything they can to get Russell Wilson next year. They got the draft. They can give him their 2 first-round picks and maybe their pick next year. But he's going to come here to what? No offensive line? And we can't pay the guy? No. 2023, all right, the salary cap is projected to go up to around maybe $225 million. The Giants have 27 guys signed. They have $93 million in salary cap money. Now, if they sign the rest of the guys from 27 signed, so they go up to 53. They sign the additional 26 guys. Basically, they're all minimum contracts. They'll still have $75 million in salary cap money. That's where you can hit it hard with the Russell Wilson trade. Now, Russell Wilson apparently is undrafted, as an unrestricted free agent in 2024. So possibly, I mean, if you could try to get him in 2023, right, you could afford to pay him. You'd have to maybe give up maybe a couple draft picks, a couple firsts. But I mean, you need your first round picks this year. You need those. You can't give them away just to get a quarterback, because he's going to come to here and we have no offensive line. And that's been his problem in Seattle. More on that in just a minute. All right. So in 2022, if next year, I mean, because all the chatter around, he's trying to maybe thinking about getting the heck out of Seattle. If they just let him go, it's going to be a $26 million cap hit for them, unless the Giants maybe trade for him. I said, which will be given their first 2 picks, 2 first-round picks this year, maybe a first round the next year. And I don't even know how they're going to come up with money to sign the guy. Next year, 2023, if the Seattle just lets him go, lets him walk, it would be a $13 million cap hit, and that's when the salary cap goes up to $225. So that wouldn't be quite as bad if he can finagle his way out of there. Then the Giants would have money to pay him. And if they had to wind up trading for him, they can give him maybe their first rounder next year in 2023, maybe another first round in 2024 or something like that. They would have some picks, and they would have the money if they had to trade for him. But I said, unless Seattle just lets him go next year, and then it would be a $13 million cap hit. So, but in 2024, the Giants have, all right, $221 million in cap space. That's a lot. They have, they only have 8 guys signed. All right. So it's projected in 2024 to be $256 million. Just projected, $256 million for the cap. Giants have 8 guys signed, so they have almost $222 million in salary cap room for 2024. If they sign the rest of the guys, it's basically all bare minimum to go from 8 to 53. They'd still have $187 million. So in 2024, if he would have come out and just ride out and play the rest of his contract the next 2 years, 2022 and 2023 in Seattle, and become an unrestricted free agent, and the Giants were to sign him, right? They would have to give up any draft picks, and they would have a boatload of money. They can basically sign him for whatever the heck he wanted to. Now the Giants in 2022, they have they could just basically, they don't have, they just can't sign him next year. So I see all these articles, the Giants, just go after next year, just go after him. They can't do that. Next year he'll be 34. Obviously in 2023 he'll be 35. In 2024, when he's an unrestricted free agent, he can be 36. So I would rather see the Giants go after him in 2023 when he's 35, or if he makes an unrestricted free agent in 2024, he'll be 36. Now he's talking about playing into his 40s. So I mean, if you draft him when he's 36, 7th, 8th, 9th, 4th, I mean, from 36 to 40 it would be 5 years. I mean, wouldn't you like to have, I mean, the guy takes really good care of himself. He's hardly ever injured. He got injured, he missed with his finger. He missed a couple games this year, but I mean, the dude's special. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Wouldn't you like to have 4 or 5 years of him? And the thing is that next year, you have Daniel Jones here, right? And then you don't sign him to a 5th year. You just let him go. In 2023, you either sign Russell Wilson or maybe you bring in somebody. Maybe you can, I don't know, draft somebody in the later rounds or bring in a veteran or something to help maybe ride the storm out in 2023. But then you go balls to the wall in 2024 and you just sign Russell Wilson, pay him whatever he wants. Plus his wife wants to come someplace, she's a singer. She wants, it's out in Seattle, she wants to be by Broadway, New York City. That would be huge. Russell Wilson would have this town eaten out of the palm of his hands if he played as well as he does in Seattle. If he brought his winning ways to New York, he'd have this eaten out of the palm of his hands. Now, one of the problems that Russell Wilson's had, all right, in Seattle is the same problem we have here. This year, his offensive line, the pass block grade by Pro Football Focus, they're number 24. They're graded at a 57.9. Their run blocking grade is they're 23rd. They're graded at 61.6. The Giants' pass blocking grade were number 32. Our run blocking is 24. Their run blocking is 23. Our run blocking is 24. Bad offensive line there. Pitiful offensive line here. So why would we want to have, if he's coming from someplace like that to someplace that's even worse, why is he going to want to come here? We have to fix the offensive line. 2020, their pass blocking grade in Seattle was 20th. Their running in 2020 was very good. They were number 9, but that's a one-time thing, as you'll see here. The Giants last year, their pass blocking grade was a 32. They were graded 32. Their running grade was 23. Very sad. 2019, Seattle's pass blocking grade, they were graded the 30th graded. Their run blocking grade was 20. The Giants were 16 in pass blocking grade in 2019, and we were number 22 in run blocking grade in 2019. 2018, the Seattle offensive line was graded number 18 overall, pass blocking grade. Their running block grade was 19. The Giants was in 2018, our pass blocking grade, we were 25th overall. In pass blocking, we were 16th overall in the run. And in 2017, Seattle's offensive line, their pass blocking grade, they were the 30th. Their run blocking grade, they were the 30th. Bad offensive line. 2017, the Giants were number 27 with pass blocking grade. We were number 18 run blocking grade. So he's coming from a bad, they have no running game. He's running for his life half the time. Why does he want to go from there to here? He's making money there. Why does he want to come here and make basically about the same amount of money and have the same result? Just no running game, running for his life. He doesn't want that. You need to make it attractive. Maybe you have some good wide receivers, which we do, but you want to have that offensive line. The guy looks, I could just stand back there for about an hour and a half, smoke a cigarette, throw a football. Oh yeah, I want to go there. Yeah. I mean, when you're 35, 36, you want to get pummeled every time you drop back to pass? No. We gotta fix the offensive line. I mean, it's just trying to make it more attractive. If we're trying to get, a good quarterback, like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or somebody like that, to come here and play for us, you got to make it attractive. You have to fix the offensive line. And we're not going to do that if we trade the picks away to get Russell Wilson to come here. And I don't think there's any quarterbacks coming out that are, as of right now, that are really worthy of a top 5 or top 10 pick or so. That may, So if we're going to go try to go hard for Russell Wilson, don't do it this year. Do it in either 2023 or in 2024. Because in 2024, he's an unrestricted free agent. We can afford him, and we don't have to give up any draft capital for him. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time any day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there, and go Giants! Woo!